So today we want to unpack a few pretty heavy topics around hair, texture, culture, race, and this stemmed from a post that I did on Instagram. It's quite controversial, I won't lie, much like most of my posts. And I had been getting some backlash from people who looked at my content, which was around my natural hair care journey with me and my afro, and were quite aggressively telling me that the 4C hair that I was saying I had was not in fact 4C hair. And it was actually really inappropriate of me as a mixed race woman to be pretending I have all of these struggles and all of these really difficult experiences tied into my afro that could never relate to how a black woman with actual 4C hair could feel. Now, just for some context, I am a black woman, and I think the issue today that we're going to be unpacking is whether I even have 4C hair and whether that's even a useful term. And off the back of that post, Emma and Nicole jumped in and said, hey, I think this is a really important topic. And off the back of me having very many, very deep conversations with Oneness about culture and race and hair, I just thought we needed to air it out. There are too many times where I feel like as women of colour, we aren't allowed to say certain things. It's taboo, or it makes other people in our own community feel uncomfortable. And I'm a bit over it. Hence why we came together for the crossover today to really discuss what it means to have a curl type and whether or not it's serving us at all. Because in my opinion, I think it's garbage. I don't think it's helping. And I think it's giving people of colour an additional way to further segregate us when we're already pretty fractured. I didn't even know the difference between line and no line. So I would just pick boxes. And then sometimes I would think I was firming it and absolutely smashing the game.
Yeah.
It's probably because I had the other type that wouldn't burn as fast. There was a point where I had 2 scabs and they were quite big. And they like tied my hair into the scab. And then I picked the scab off and it scalped me a little bit there, and it was sore, and it was a little bit, it wasn't bleeding, but it was like you touch it and it was sticky. She has children who are mixed with Indian. She said, Paige, listen, I thought that, 4C, it was like the most difficult. I had my babies. She said, it takes 3 to 4 hours to detangle. I said 3 to 4. She said 3 to 4 hours.
When you go to get your hair done, you're vulnerable.
You are.
Like you're trusting
so
and remember like we've spoken about like the cultural context that hairs come from. It's like it is a vulnerable thing. It's like going to get a massage and you take the clothes off. It's a safe space. And so when people are pulling up your head and doing all of that, it feels like violation.
It feels like a violation. Completely.
And I was greeted by this lovely black woman, and she was super warm, and it was great. And then there was another woman behind her, and she just bowled up to me and said, "Oh, my daughter wants to have hair like yours." And then she reached up and touched my hair.
She went in.
And then she was like, "Oh, I hope you don't mind."
After.
And then she said, "I bet you wish you had my hair."
She didn't.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
She said it's always the way people wish they had what they don't have. And I said, I love my hair.
I know.
I wouldn't wish for
I can't even
any other hair.
When do you think you actually started learning about your hair? Because I also have a misconception. I'm saying it's misconception already. I'm just assuming it's wrong.
Okay.
That growing up, you guys maybe like you learned how to do your hair earlier? No? Is it the same?
Nah, bro.
I still don't know how to do it now.
Just struggle
You
around?
just figure it like you're
I
just
still
trying
don't
to
do it
like.
now. I still don't do it now.
Yeah,
I
still
don't
myself
know what's going on. It's so funny because my mom.
Look at him.
You know I like that.
She literally said to me about something about you were like, oh, my edges aren't done. I was like, I've never done mine. I don't know
what is done at this point.
I know. I was like, what would that look like? I don't know.
I was like, I'm going to be dragged because I didn't bother doing my edges.
But that's the thing, dragged by who?
I mean,
yeah.
Let me not start with edges. Let me not start with edges. Like, I get it. Like, babies have baby hair.
Yeah.
Babies have baby hair.
Exactly.
And it's not taken away from, yes, we can do all of this stuff. I remember, what's the athlete, Simone?
Biles.
Yeah,
Biles.
everyone dragging her because she didn't have
oh my,
What?
she's busy being
edges
a
or
gymnast.
whatever at her wedding. But I'm like, but why is
I didn't
that?
know that
I'm like,
happened.
why is it normalized? Like, if someone wants to have edges,
Let
they
them
can have edges.
Yeah.
But my hair don't grow.
I was in jest, but because really no one could
Just
tell,
edges gets me.
no one
Sorry,
could
edges gets me.
really
Edges
tell
gets
me
me.
anything. I just do whatever I'm doing, and I really,
I'm triggered by just not knowing what things are.
But
That's what I built my brand on.
Yeah, I was like, but like talking about, you know, when you learned, I was like, I didn't really learn a lot. And I remember my mom's from the Philippines, and she used to work for the Jamaican embassy for many years. Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to know.
Yeah, she used to work for the Jamaican embassy for many years, and that was how she learned about hair stuff. She would just ask her colleagues.
Be like, hey.
For me, yeah, and then they just told her like, oh, just have her get her hair relaxed, and she was like,
Well,
yeah,
this is
I'm not even. I'm acting like I'm shocked.
yeah, exactly, which is not shocking.
shocked.
And again, and so you know, so that's what we did from the age of 10. I was 10 years old when we
You
first
just relaxed it.
and just went and got it relaxed. And picking up on what you were saying before, because I think when we were talking about parents, we were talking about mothers, and specifically. It's all our responsibility.
Yeah.
Like as women,
Yeah.
we're so hard on ourselves and we're so hard on each other. And again, we're hard on our own mothers. My dad always said from the beginning, he didn't like me getting he's like, if he could change anything about my childhood, it would be me relaxing my hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Is your dad black?
Yes.
I see.
And so, he's from Ghana. And so like, I just find it so funny because it's like that's the mom thing. That's a mother's job.
Yeah.
so much to carry.
And he didn't, and fair enough, obviously he had his opinions, but it wasn't like he was like, no, you're not doing that.
Right.
And I will stop this from happening to you.
Yeah.
It just was like, okay, well, you guys go off to the salon for 5 hours, see you in the evening.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Like
that was
when
it.
does it become a culture thing as opposed to a beauty thing? Because I think that's the problem. It feels like a beauty thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're relaxing your hair.
Yeah.
And then I'm 18. I have no edges. My hair's completely mashed up. I get my afro out. What do I do with the afro? You're a woman. You're a grown. I have rent, but I don't know what to do with the hair on my head. And now it's a culture thing. But it wasn't a culture thing when you took me to the salon.
It wasn't a culture thing.
Then there's also the difficulty of like finding someone to help you.
Ha!
Figure out what to do, because you're like, oh, I have this conception that you learn early. No, like there's so much wrapped up in it. I
didn't
feel
know
like...
that was my like that burning sensation.
The
I
one
didn't
that
know
you-
that was not part of it. Like that it's
I
meant
learned
to
that
be
last
like
year.
Yeah. I was
the extra 10 minutes. That
the extra
10 minutes with the oil sheen. It's actually not a good idea.
Yeah.
I learned that last year. So,
and I didn't realize that the when your hairs get stringy at the end, your thing is dying.
It's dead.
You told me that.
Yeah, it's breakage, right?
Nobody told.
No, but I would wash that and swoop it and be like, that's length.
Exactly. I didn't know that was a bad thing.
But I don't know if the people as in our carers, our loving mothers, I don't know if they necessarily knew. My mum didn't know.
My mum didn't know.
The things I tell my mum now from this podcast, she's like, is it?
Yeah.
Well, my white mum didn't probably know, but she was like, you are not getting your hair straightened.
Yeah.
That's what she knew.
Yeah.
Like, that's all she knew.
Yeah, like my mum didn't want me to do. My auntie came over from Trinidad and persuaded my mum to let me straighten my hair because I really, really wanted to do it. I thought my mum was so unfair. Yeah. I felt, but it was interesting because for me, I wanted to be more grown. Yes. So I started secondary school and my hair wasn't relaxed. The same. And most of the girls had their hair relaxed. Yep. And I felt like my hair was in child style. Yeah. Because most of the adults had their hair chemically processed. Yeah. So I associated it with, I'm going to get high heels, lipstick and straighten my hair. Like, you know, this was all part of it and grow wigs, you know?
Exactly.
But like, the breast will come after the relaxing.
And once the hair is straight.
Do you know what I mean? It all comes together. I'm like, why have I got all the other bits and not this bit, you know? And it wasn't until later, and I just thought my mum was trying to keep me as a child.
Yeah, trying to stop you from being great.
I didn't really get it. And then it was like, but it was because that's how normalized.
Of course.
Like straight hair was more normalized than my hair that grows up and out of my head.
I remember saying to someone that it feels like a black girl rite of passage. Is when you get your hair relaxed, like a bar mitzvah for a Jewish boy. It felt like you get your hair relaxed, now you're a woman.
And that's such a dichotomy, isn't it? Because it's like, for me, my afro is like an important part of my blackness.
Yeah.
And yet, and I haven't ever chemically straightened my hair.
That hair is healthy.
And yet, well, I don't know. I mean, like, we've all like been figuring it out, and
I mean, chemicals is the killer.
Doing the madness. Yeah, this is true, and
you're chemical free.
I'm glad I didn't do that.
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like it's changed my hair curl texture, my hair pattern.
Yeah, I think
everyone's sat here like we're like agree.
Yeah. It's not, because it's like it's not. This is not the issue of whether or not you have your hair straightened, right? Whether the aesthetic, but what is in the thing?
What's in the thing?
Like,
what's in there?
It's like under no other circumstances would you with your sane mind
put that on
that anywhere near your body.
Like, read the manufacturer. Literally, when I did the episode talking about relaxers on Texture Talks, Sam caught me in a real bad situation where she asked me what the time is supposed to be, and I was like, for what? Relaxers? So I was 40 minutes? 30 minutes?
Yeah.
She was like, have you ever read the manufacturer's guidelines? I was like, where are they? Are they on the box?
Are they on the box?
Inside?
I
Is there
thought
paper?
you were just going to say until it's ready.
No. She was like, no, there's a piece of paper inside the box. I was like, well, I've never read it. So I don't know. And it's 12 to 18 minutes. I was like,
stop it.
No, do you know what?
Okay. That's full application.
I read it.
Okay.
And thought I was doing something.
No.
I thought I was doing something good by using children's relaxers.
I was like, I didn't even know that was inside of that box.
It's the same thing.
And the fact that
I've never even seen the thing on the inside of the box.
Right? When she said the manufacturer's guidelines, I was like, what, on the website?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I had no idea. So then, of course, when it burns, I'm fine because I haven't read anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I get the oil sheen because that's what Grandma said, to get the oil sheen and let it extend.
I've never done it, and even I know that you're supposed to wait till it burns because it's ready.
Yeah, it's ready.
Because that was because remember they had lie and no lie. The whole thing is a lie, right? But like the whole thing with lie is that it burns, and so burning was part
it's
was
ready.
part of the
experience.
Yeah, and then you try and stretch it out.
So when you train to no lie, you're like, okay, I can handle the burn a bit better.
Hand it.
And that's the problem. I didn't even know the difference between lie and no lie. So I would just pick boxes, and then sometimes I would think I was firming it and absolutely smashing the game.
Yeah,
it's probably because I had the other type that wouldn't burn as fast.
Yeah,
and then it got to it. There was a point where I had 2 scabs, and they were quite big, and they like tied my hair into the scab, and then I picked the scab off, and it scalped me a little bit there, and it was sore, and it was a little bit. It wasn't bleeding, but it was like you touch it and it was sticky.
Oh, it's so stressful.
These things.
That was the first time where I was like, Chutney.
See, this should not be a hair conversation. Only surgeons should be talking about these kind of scab and adhesion.
Adhesion.
See, I can't even now tell you my story about sitting at the salon waiting to get my hair done because it just doesn't feel.
I would do my relaxer at the salon.
And the same experience.
And it was the same thing. And also it was the hairdresser who told me from when I was 10 years old to wait and be patient, to ignore the burning because it's working. And again, same with the scabbing.
Beauty pains.
Yeah, exactly.
But
beauty pains.
This is actually, I've just had the biggest epiphany moment. You see, when people say, we don't get it, we all have too many different experiences, right? So everyone stay in your lane.
Yeah.
This is why that's so harmful to our growth. Because you see, as 4 women here from different heritages, how we can all sit here and learn and laugh and kiki and unpack, and you haven't even relaxed your hair, and you can still get deep in the conversation.
I'm there with you.
You're already feeling the burning.
I know.
Right? Literally, we wouldn't have had this if we thought, well, I'm a light-skinned black woman, you're a dark-skinned black woman, and you're mixed race, so we can't talk about this. Our experiences are too different. It's obviously not the case. And on that video where I was like very upset, that was when I said it doesn't matter. it wasn't me saying race doesn't matter, I don't see colour.
Yeah.
It was me saying this wouldn't happen if you continue to look at the race of somebody when it comes to talking about hair and saying they're too light or they're too dark or they're too mixed. I'm not going to listen to this video. Click, minimize.
But also, I feel like I would have been more supported and more confident, like going to the salon and advocating for myself and knowing like what I should accept and not accept and ask for and not ask for and how my hair could be done if we'd been able to have these conversations sooner. Like I want the youngsters to be able to like talk to each other like this so that they can be supported and be able to go and do what they need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And know what they need to know.
Yeah. I also want it for perspective. I say that because people with hair like mine and like yours always, I think, perceive it as like genuinely, this is just the worst, hardest texture.
I don't.
I'm glad, and as you can see, she's got a healthy fro here, and she loves it. Okay, so I don't agree. But I spoke to a wonderful woman called Marsha. She's founder of Black Send Mamas, and it's like a group with Black carers or mothers of children with disabilities or special needs. Mm-hmm. She has children who are mixed with Indian. Mm-hmm. And she said, Paige, listen, I thought that, 4C, it was like the most difficult. I had my babies. She said, it takes 3 to 4 hours to detangle. I said 3 to 4. She said 3 to 4 hours. I said, I don't have time for that. She said, I open a window and the hair knots.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no. Oh, I don't have that. I would hate that, to sit with the fairy knots and have to slowly unpick for 3 to 4 hours. I need to understand perspective. I need to understand we all have challenges. And although, yes, there's a lot that comes with this afro, I would not like that every day.
I mean, I just pull mine out.
We all have a different hair
Everyone's
journey,
got
which is
challenges.
Like
and you need to look around and be like, there's things that I know that you don't deal with and you wouldn't want to deal with, whether you have an afro or not. Yeah. And the problem is we don't have that perspective, because as soon as somebody with a looser texture says, oh, I had this really hard time when, I think people with tighter textures are like, no, it's not the same. It's not as hard, so I don't get the opportunity to even hear.
Right.
It's really interesting as well, like talking about how difficult your hair is. And I remember I wrote this on a post somewhere, like it wasn't one of yours, but it was talking about like how the narrative of how difficult our hair is, how difficult black hair is. And I wrote, when people say to me, because people always say to me, and white people say this to me all the time, oh, how long did it take you to do your hair? Like, you've been with me all the time, and it has, like, it's like, how long did it take?
I've seen this in real time, and I'm like, oh my Lord.
And this is just one of the things she's seen in real time in relation to my hair. It's like, it's a journey. If you want to be my friend and hang around with me, you have to be prepared to talk about hair.
You gotta be ready.
I'm sat here like, okay.
You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready for everyone to have something to say about it.
Yeah, or to be
are they still doing that? Are we still?
Oh, they're still doing it.
During Paris Fashion Week, I went to this event. Yep. And I walked in and I was greeted by this lovely black woman, and she was super warm and it was great. And then there was another woman behind her, and she just bowled up to me and said, oh, my daughter wants to have hair like yours. And then she reached up and touched my hair.
She went in.
And then she was like, oh, I hope you don't mind.
After.
And then she said, I bet you wish you had my hair.
She didn't.
Yeah. She said it's always the way people wish they had what they don't have. And I said, I love my hair.
I know.
I wouldn't wish for
I can't even
any other hair. But I was still reeling from the touching and the thing.
That was a lot.
And I was a bit caught off guard. And then afterwards, most of the time, if that happens, I feel bad because I wish I'd said, can you not do that? And if I haven't said it, I feel like I let myself down.
Yeah. But sometimes when you're being traumatized, you don't think of the right things to say.
In the midst of trauma.
In the middle of it.
And then like when you're at an event and it's like, oh, also like part of you's probably like, I don't want to like make a massive.
I don't want to be the angry black girl
Yeah,
at the fancy event.
At the fancy
I was waiting for you to say it. I was
event.
like, because I live that life every day.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the angry black woman with her. Here she goes.
Yeah, exactly. Like
She's starting
She's
again.
don't look again.
But but anyway, the other woman, she came over to me later and she just said, I'm really sorry. That shouldn't have happened. Yeah, it shouldn't have happened, blah, blah, blah. And then, so that was really nice that she did that. And I did feel, I felt better. But because I was like, oh, at least somebody
there was a witness.
saw,
there's a witness.
And then,
The concept of our hair being difficult, I think, is it's shared with us outside of the community. It's like everyone has it.
But this is it. Sorry, I just wanted to finish saying. So on this post that was about like hair being different, I just said, I never confirm that. I never validate that idea because I don't want to validate it because I don't think it's our hair is our hair. Like if we have to take time to do what we have to do, and we all have our different journeys, and I'm not saying it's not struggle bus, but I don't want to be involved with perpetuating the idea that we as standard are
struggling, difficult,
negative hair.
And it's like, from what perspective are you looking at that from? Because, for example, let's just imagine there was this different world, right?
Sure.
And white people were trying to make their hair curly, right? Their hair would be difficult, wouldn't it? Because they would have to put perms and really tight rods in it, and they would maybe have to do certain things and try maybe not to get it wet because the curls might fall out, and etc. So the whole idea of our hair being difficult, I think, is also compared to a white norm of what hair should look like, and also white culture when it relates to hair, because as African people historically, our hair meant so many things. Like in certain groupings of people, certain ethnicities, like doing hair was like quite a sacred job. Everybody couldn't just do hair. It was something that was passed down, and when the person that did the hair passed away, then their not utensils, not food, but you know what I mean, their tools, thank you, right, would be passed on to someone else. There's a particular type of craft. One hairstyle would tell you that someone is ready for courting, not ready for courting. The whole coming together, which we still kind of have in hairdressers and all the rest of it around here, it was cultural exchange. When you get your little young person and you put them between your knee and you're doing their hair, that's cultural transmission. You're telling them stories. You're massaging their hair. You're laughing. You're remembering when somebody did that for you and passed on that energy to you. So there's so much. When we're saying like it takes a long time, I'm like, the Most High gave us a gift where we have this thing where we can connect with each other at a frequency level. And so it's not difficult. I'm like, oh, what, you done yours in 10 minutes? What did you learn there? Do you know what I mean? What did you get from that? And so it's like,
you woke up and you got to leave.
Flip it on its head, like it still like subscribes to an idea of a norm. So it will take a long time for your hair to get to what is considered acceptable in this context. But actually it's like, if we're not trying to make our hair do things that it doesn't want to do,
then
what's difficult?
Do you know what I mean?
100%. And I think, this brings me to what I said to you the other day, and I was like, I had a message from someone and they said that their daughter wanted to get her hair braided, and then she contacted a braider, and they said that they wouldn't do her hair because they felt that it was cultural appropriation. And her black mum is actually the one that reached out and told me the story. And I just felt so devastated for them both, because I could tell like her mother was just like completely at a loss and completely like just as upset as her that her daughter couldn't have access to this thing that's part of her culture, part of her heritage. And I remembered, and I write about this in our book, like when, although my mum did learn to Kmero, like she for me, when I was a teenager, like it wasn't slick enough, like her ability. So of course, I wanted to go and get my hair done elsewhere. And I can still remember those times and that connection and that it was a sacred moment, like being squeezed in between, you know, someone's legs, and they're like, you know, tightly braiding your hair, and
you're checking to see if they're done, and the comb's like,
it's something that I think, you know, is particularly important as well for like mixed kids growing up that may not have necessarily access all the time to those cultural things that connect them back.
That's true. For sure.
And I thought it was really sad that this girl wanted to go and
experience that.
Yeah.
And she was told no.
She was rejected.
And bless her, because I it's like I see sometimes to get to balance, we end up at extremes. And so we've seen a lot of, like, you know, we didn't even have a word for cultural appropriation before. Now we have this language where we can articulate what it feels like when people abuse and mock and commodify our culture.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, right, so this is cool, this is here, but how do we now like gauge that? Because actually it's not cultural appropriation if this child is of African heritage. Why would it be? But because we're so visual and so color blinded, and I think this is why it is problematic when we do reduce everything literally to and when I say color, I don't mean like literally color or literally what somebody's hair textures like because actually this is a child of African heritage and she wants to braid her hair. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But because people have had the experiences of cultural appropriation, it's like that's now gone a bit far left. And then there's the people who are in the experience, which is the mum and the little girl, who aren't thinking of all of that. They're just thinking of, I'm just going to take my daughter to get her hair.
That's what I said earlier. That's the first time, which is incredibly selfish of me. Like, what's wrong with you? You can't have empathy for other people, but sometimes it's hard, and you'll never be able to know exactly how someone feels unless you're in their shoes, until you potentially can picture yourself, I think, from a mother's perspective. And that hurt me.
That's the bit that, because it was the mum telling me this. I also felt like I was feeling her pain so much because she's like, I just want my daughter to be able to have this thing which is part of me, and she's being rejected, and I actually don't have any experience of having this rejection. I feel this rejection secondhand, but I don't actually have this exact experience of this rejection, and it wouldn't happen to me. So I'm not quite sure how to like guide her.
I personally wouldn't know.
I would say go to another hairdresser.
No, definitely.
And I know, I know it sounds like I've trivialized it.
The emotional, right? You know, the emotional like how to hold her in that moment, because
I think the worry is where is she
with compassion
going to get that?
The reason why I said that, right?
She wouldn't get that. I think it's important to note that, like, I imagine, I don't think that she would get that everywhere.
But I'm saying, how do you know? Because she didn't expect to get it.
Exactly. But this is what I mean. But this is what I mean. When I say go to another hairdresser, it sounds like I was trivializing it, but I wasn't. Because most people can say that they've had negative experiences with hairdressers.
That's true.
Do you see what I mean? Like some sort of experience that has really genuinely like hit their core. Do you know what I mean?
Bit it.
And that's what, and so when I say go to another hairdresser, obviously, like, you know, speak to your baby girl and say, look, like, there's a whole bunch of history as to why some hairdressers are just not as nice and understanding as others, you know. And she could probably talk about a story that she had, whatever that was,
exactly,
with the hairdresser, but I want you to know this is not all the places. I'm gonna go and check this place out first, or I'm gonna get some recommendations and find out who is got some sense in their head, and then we're gonna bring you to a nice safe space and whatever, because it's like it's a minefield. The hairdresser experience
that was happening on the flip side. And again, this is why I get frustrated. I get frustrated with us, as in the we of the community. And it's not our fault. We've got the barriers that we have for the reasons that we've described. But I wish growing up that I had dialogue with my mixed race friends like this. But I think even though we loved each other, we just didn't. because I think we just felt like, oh, it's just a bit different.
Yeah.
So they'd probably have it with friends that also were mixed heritage, and I'd probably wait until I was with my black friends to talk about relaxers and things like that.
Yeah.
But I wish I did, because I had so many years of going into, I was about to say, you're lucky I won't say your name this time, but certain chains. And the chains, I've said their name up and down my podcast. But today, she'll keep it light and cute.
I want to know that.
Tony and Guy.
Okay.
Yeah? Bristol and Nottingham.
Okay.
Right.
She's dropped the location.
And I went in, but they don't rent it.
It's dead for them.
They've got loads of different chains, so it could be any of them.
Could be
sure, it could be any of them that caused me trauma.
Not the one on such and such road.
And I'd go in and literally it was like my hair's relaxed, it's straight, I just want it cut. That's it. Because I already knew that if I went in with my afro, like, it's a stupid idea. Why would you do that? They're not going to know how to do your hair. So I thought I was helping.
Yeah.
And I went in like with the fresh relaxer. Yeah, day one.
Day one.
And I just wanted a trim.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I thought, there's no way they're going to say no. I went into 3 different ones. I got ignored the first time. I sat there in the foyer for like 15, 20 minutes. And they're doing hair and they're looking over and they can see me. And they
don't want to come over.
No, they didn't come over.
Wow.
One of them, there were 2 ladies that were there. They were doing hair, like they'd done the foils for someone and then put someone else under the dryer and just went into the back.
Oh yeah, I've had this going into the back.
God.
Yeah, they just went into the back, obviously to kiki and laugh, to be like, oh my God, as if she thinks she's going to get her hair done here.
Yeah.
And then the third one, she said, I'm really sorry, we don't do your hair here. And I was there literally almost begging. I left that one crying because I felt really embarrassed. And because I didn't feel like I should have begged, but in that moment, I'm like pleading almost to try and like, because I really wanted to get my hair done. You know when you like, you do your makeup and you look really cute because you're really excited and you're like, I'm going to get my hair done today.
This is the day. Exactly.
And I was young and I was like, no, you don't understand. I just want to get it trimmed into a bob. And I had like photos and they were like, no, I'm really sorry, we don't do your hair.
Oh my God.
So I just left and I had a bit of crying, went home. And I think it wouldn't have made it better, but it almost would have made me feel less alone and less like a leper if I also knew that on the flip side, there's people that are going into black salons and they're being turned away. They're being turned away and told, oh, no, we won't be doing your hair.
Listen, I've been turned away from black salons.
For why?
How about that?
For why?
How about
Tell
that?
us.
Please.
This is what I'm trying, like, the beauty thing is a whole mess, right?
True that.
So, as I said, when I don't even want to say went natural, like that.
Returned to natural. I like returned.
Like when I
It's
stopped
already on your head.
putting foreign things on my head.
Good, yes.
Which was some years back. Sure. There wasn't a natural
movement. It was just you,
right?
moving
It was
along.
just me, things that I did to my hair, etc., etc. And I was hosting a show.
Okay.
I was hosting a show in Holloway at the Rocket, right?
Sure.
And so I didn't have time to do my hair myself. I just wanted it trimmed and I wanted it straw set, right? I don't know if you know.
Absolutely not. What's that?
So it's literally, they probably have a really like easy way to do it now. But in those times, you should like you put use a straw and get ringlets.
Okay,
and put the little pins in the straw. But you used to
yeah.
literally use straws, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't have time to do it myself. Had a show in the evening. Wanted to get zhuzhed up. Went in went in the hairdressers and I was like, oh, can you straw set my hair? And she looked at me.
Oh.
She touched my hair, so
Oh.
and went, isn't that relax? And I said,
Oh my God.
no, I just want a straw set. She said, she wants straw. She said, I only really do that pan relax here or mix up here, whatever, or mix race here, something to that effect. Yes?
Yeah.
And said, no, we can't do that on your hair.
Oh no! Well, you got cast.
I straw set my own hair, so
Yeah,
I know
you
it
know
was
it,
you know it's
like,
real.
Of course.
but it was like, how dare you come in here
With your natural hair,
Exactly.
wanting it.
Yeah.
and
You need
that-
wanting
Yeah.
us to do something
and that
about
was the
it.
thing. Like that's why a lot, like now, black hairdressers know how to do like
Yeah.
black hair.
Now.
Before, mainly what they learned was how to make black hair textures.
Yeah, straight.
Straight.
Yeah.
That was
And
style
see, so
straight.
this
And
has
style
happened.
straight.
That's
That was
my
literally my
experience
experience
as well.
as
Like
well.
when I
Yeah.
basically finally fastened myself up to go to a black hair salon.
Yeah.
And I had done my booking and everything.
Oh no, you hurt my heart.
I'd done my
Not
booking and
the
everything. I was
booking.
excited. Yeah, I got there early.
Oh, no,
No, I'm upset already.
Not you getting there on
Yeah, I
time.
know. Like,
No, sorry,
I've got
early
a
and
big
on
book. I've got
time.
a big book.
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't think I did. I don't think I
no.
had anything, but I waited for hours
your hope.
and hours and hours, and everybody who came after me got seen.
no.
And like it was like literally like
Really?
I had to wait to be the last person, and they kept on looking over at me and then
no.
talking, and then I just
She's not left.
I just sat there patiently because I thought, I don't know what I thought. Anyway, eventually I got ushered into my chair. It was really late, like it was like normal, almost closing time.
What?
Oh my god.
And then they basically gave me a student, like a
Ah!
girl that I'd previously seen sweeping the floor
Oh my god.
with my hair, you know. And
oh no.
I was just there for a haircut.
I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to cause
Exactly.
anyone any trauma.
Yeah.
I just want to get my.
I just wanted a haircut.
Oh no.
Anyway, and I'm really ashamed of this
Why?
because it's just because it's so far from the person that I am today.
Mm.
Right.
I felt like they knew better than me what to do with my hair.
Mm.
Yeah, they trained.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they should have, right?
Yeah,
Right.
They have certificates.
I was like, that's an assumption you should be able
I
to
think
be
that's
making.
fair.
Yeah.
I think you're out of order.
She didn't go to a florist. Right? Hairdressers. Right, okay.
And so she insisted that she had to basically hot iron my hair, like blow
got
dry
this.
my
I
hair.
had
Yeah.
a sneaker suspicion.
I,
that you
yeah,
were gonna
knew,
say
I
that.
knew where you were
And
going with this.
She had to blow dry my hair in order to cut my hair.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you really don't.
No.
Because if you do that, you won't, I don't think you'll be able to see
what you're doing.
where to cut
I'm not
it.
gonna.
You're gonna
Also,
regret this.
you're not gonna wear it like that. So how is that helpful
Yeah.
to you?
Anyway,
in
so
any
I
way?
tried, but she was insistent. So I thought, okay, well, you must know
You must.
what you're doing.
Mhm.
So she proceeded to do this blow dry
Mhm.
and cut. And
Yeah.
this was the time when this was one of the times. I think there's been more than one time, but yeah, this was a time when I after it finished, the horror finished, I paid a lot of money.
As you do.
For
You
the
often do.
pleasure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I remember being at the till, like just waiting to cry.
Yeah.
I remember
I've been
just
there.
wanting to exit
Oh my
so that I
God.
could
So that you
so
could
that I
cry.
didn't have to cry in front of
Front
them.
of
Yeah.
I
them.
felt like I was being made. I felt like me and my friends were like having a joke yesterday in Paris because they're from London. They came to Paris and there was some scenario and it was like we were talking about how it's a London thing to be like immediately jump to like there's one question in your mind which is, am I a dickhead though?
Yeah.
Literally, am I a dickhead though?
Yeah.
Like literally,
Yes.
I was just thinking,
Am I a ticket?
yeah.
Yeah.
Am I a
But-
mug?
Yeah.
I was
Because
equal parts angry
Yeah.
and equal parts sad.
Yeah.
Like really sad for myself.
yeah.
Oh my God.
And like, yeah, I just remember like wanting to leave and like trying to find something in my bag to cover my hair,
Hat, scarf.
hiding
anything.
behind a lamppost, calling someone to pick me up.
Yeah. I've had that. And it's weird because I've had it just like you. Got to the end of the I got to the end of the appointment and I have a real grudge against this salon. It's in London and they do relatively well. One day I will find the
I
owner.
wonder if it's the same
And
one.
I will find the owner and we're going to sit down because the owner was there when I was unhappy. And they'd like shaved my hair down to absolutely nothing when that wasn't what I wanted a pixie.
Oh
Did
my
the wrong colour.
God.
So it was like a yellow buzz cut. I'd never had my hair.
Tell me
Shaved.
one. Tell me one of the locations.
Shoreditch. They have another one in Wembley.
Okay.
Okay. And I went there and the
Interesting,
owner was there and was really like almost mocking. Because
I
he could
felt
see-
mocked.
He could
Yeah.
see I was upset.
Um,
And I was trying to say like I'm just not happy, and then there was some other like
Oh my
comment
God.
of like okay, well you should have said this or should have said that, and then was like so it will be like 100 and whatever, and I was
Oh
like
my
Yeah, and then you just pay.
Yeah, no responsibility.
and then was like
You
okay,
pay and you
and
cry.
then just left and heard the ding of the door and then ran to cry,
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
and I thought to myself, you know what's funny? It's almost like me trying not to be the angry black woman. I'm now just letting myself get neglected.
Yeah.
This is it, right? It was, yeah.
And you're in a when you go to get your hair done, you're vulnerable.
You
Mhm.
are.
Like you're
are.
trusting
So
and like, and remember,
You
like we've
are.
spoken about like the cultural context that
Yeah.
hairs come from. It's like it is a vulnerable thing. It's like going to get a massage and you take
Yeah,
the clothes
it
off.
is.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's a safe space. And so when
Yeah.
people are pulling up your head and doing all of that,
Mm.
it
feels like
violation.
It
feels
feels
like
like
a
violation.
violation.
Yeah.
Completely.
You know, and then like, so you want a safe space, and like then they won't take responsibility for the fact that they got it
Exactly.
wrong,
They
or
never do.
or never say, do you know what?
Never.
Like, I don't know.
Or don't they,
Mhm.
like, even sometimes you think maybe they'll half it. Maybe they'll give me a discount. Maybe for the mess that they've made. And then you're there with paying full price, like, okay,
Oh,
all right,
wow.
okay. And then
Yeah.
you just don't want to be there anymore.
Mhm.
It's
wanna
like,
get
I
out.
don't even want to fight the good fight.
No.
I just can't be
You just can't
Yeah.
be
in
in the
this
space.
facility.
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
get home
Yeah.
so I can work out how to fix this.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have time.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
the quicker I can get there, the quicker
Like-
I'll know it can be fixed.
I will get a taxi.
Yeah,
to
right.
a
You can do
Superdrug.
something.
I just need to go to Superdrug. Whilst I'm in the taxi, I'll be on YouTube. Okay, I just need to know that tomorrow morning I won't look this way.
Yeah.
So I don't even
Yeah,
have
you wanna
time to
change
like to cuss you out and to throttle you at the till. No, sir, take your money so I can get out of here.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like you're standing there in your towel.
Yeah,
you need to come in,
literally.
like
But
this is
you can't be cussing people in your towel.
Exactly.
But also that they're looking at you from the till, and I remember you're also thinking, I know I've
I'm
been
not crazy.
completely done over here.
You're not blind.
Yeah.
Like we all know what's happened. You see
The
what's on
lady
my
with
head.
the foils knows
Yeah.
what's happened. Okay.
And you now also think I'm a dickhead. Literally. Oh no, I can't. I can't. But and it's not to say, like growing up as well, I had so many awful scenarios in like white hair salons, like where they had these special scissors to cut like weight out of the hair.
Yes,
Like,
I had that.
Why are you holding up
Oh
like
my gosh.
garden shears?
Because that's what it was like.
It was like one part comb knife.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know,
Because I
and-
remembered seeing one of them in my house, and when I
Yeah.
was younger, I think I tried to cut paper with it. My mum was like, "No,
Yeah.
that's not what this is for." But it like,
And
it
so I remember
stings.
someone telling
stings,
me
yeah.
when I was a kid that they needed to cut the weight that specific
Yeah, it
phrase,
was to-
cut the weight out of your
Literally.
hair. And I was like, what does that even mean?
That's oppression scissors.
like,
Well, yeah,
That's what that
a
is.
thinning thing.
Yeah,
Like
so
a-
you
Yeah,
went, so you
thinning.
close it, and then
That's
you
it.
drag it along
And
the
you
hair,
drag
and the hair
it.
drags with it like bye.
It's
and
scary.
then-
It's
yeah.
actually scary
It's
because
scary.
Yeah.
To
like
break
when
it,
you
it's like
see-
it giving you split ends.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Is it?
Because it
because
they
it
drag
drags
it
it
along.
in different. So I did it. I used to use it for my weaves when they came too thick.
Yeah.
That's the only time, and it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
worked. It worked too well. Don't use them.
It worked too
So like a
well.
lot of hair
Yeah,
came
I
out, and then
remember
the
seeing it
weft
on the
was then
films.
thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But obviously I wanted to have like when I was growing up, I thought obviously like like European hair was gonna make me pretty. So
Oh, I
I
think we all
wanted it to
did.
be
Yeah.
thinned.
Yeah.
But I didn't really I hated that process. Like I knew it was wrong. Like it
No,
was
it
Yeah,
feels-
there's
doesn't
something
feel
about
right.
to the core.
In your spirit, you were like, that's
This-
not meant
this
to be
ain't
anywhere
it.
near me. Yeah.
This ain't it.
Yeah.
You let it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
I think what I would love is that people understand that these discussions don't take away from your experience.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's all that post was for.
Mm-hmm.
If I have had nasty experiences, I can, unfortunately for me, still have that nasty experience as I learn about your nasty experience.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be then a case of like, whose was nasty, which was worse.
Right.
Was yours as
Agreed.
bad?
Of course.
And if nothing else, my goal with Texture Talks and having these conversations is that when it comes to hair, it can really just be a hair conversation. We're not there yet. We're nowhere near there yet. But that it can just be texture.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be anything else, because regardless of how I look, our hair could be the same. That's the thing. Hair doesn't mean race. The two are not the same. There's people in Africa that have straight hair and blue eyes. The two, I don't think, are synonymous with one another necessarily.
Yeah.
What does everyone think about this?
Well, I do get what you mean to a degree. Yeah, because I think that like we shouldn't assume because somebody's complexion or whatever that their hair is a particular, because it's just not helpful for them doing
and it's
their
not
hair.
right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
not,
it doesn't
it's
really
not accurate.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. There is hair that African people predominantly have. Yeah. And so I think that there is that connection. But yeah, I think that we can be like, I was gonna say less ignorant, but let's not be ignorant at all. Like, do you know what I mean? You know,
just turn it down.
Let's dash out ignorance, right? But yeah, I think that we can like be a bit more expansive and a bit more nuanced with our
is the word.
with our thinking.
Yeah.
And I think as well that kind of when we are triggered, being able to go, why is that triggering me?
I do that.
What is going
nowadays.
on inside for me? Why is that person? And then you might say, okay, it's related to a real experience and whatever. But like, and you know, and on things like TikTok, you just hear like the loud people, the people that probably agree with you. Just press like and keep it moving. Do you know what I mean? And the people who have got issues at home and so and so just left and whatever are on here.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not, and all their stuff's being projected onto you.
It's probably good to have the grace to sometimes be like, that person doesn't need an answer.
Yeah, you know? Because
they need compassion, but they don't need an answer.
Not from me.
Because sometimes that's actually all they're trying to do is just draw you energy away from like what your actual big objective is, you know, and you educate people. I mean, even this show, it's like saying, okay, actually, this is a conversation that many people will never have heard.
I've gotten so much from
Me too.
us talking.
I'm gonna spend some time just like after this alone, like just sat mulling. That's what I do after anytime I have a conversation with Oneness. So I'm sorry that I've basically given you the Oneness experience.
I need the Oneness experience. I feel like I'd love us to just do a dinner. Can we just do a dinner?
But we have to start the dinner early.
Yeah, exactly.
5 o'clock.
Hey, let's do brunch, right? Let's do brunch.
Let's be sane.
And if it takes us through to dinner time,
That's fine. For you guys, what would you like to be different? We've talked about a lot today, so I'm leaving it open. What do you want to be different?
I'm gonna let you start.
No, you start. Because I feel like you always put me on the hook.
How do we want the world to be different?
Oh my gosh, that's such a big ask.
Yeah,
that's such a big ask. But it does bring me back to when you were talking earlier about the mixed Japanese girl. Yeah. And she was talking about, again, like her experience growing up with her Black mother. And of course, I love my mother. Yeah. She's the best woman in the whole world. But
shout out to Mumsy.
Yeah. Shout out to Mary Flora. But that did make me, you know, talking about sitting with your triggers, that made me feel a type way immediately because I was like, that was not my experience at all. I was immediately jealous. Yeah. And so I think in terms of like, what I want to change, I think it's more of a personal thing. Sure. I think it's more of being able to not necessarily just be happy with my experience in my life, but just knowing that that's mine and that my story is mine. And again, like I've been saying, you know, throughout this episode, where I often feel like these things are trying to be taken away from me or like slipping away from me in these ways, is that I can just hold on to them and be like, no one can take stuff from me, and that's fine.
Yeah, I think for me, like, there's nothing that I need right now. I'm so chill. I
was like, what a way to live.
No, but
I'm so stressed.
No, when it comes to hair, like I've grown into myself to a place where like I love my hair. I'm so confident with it. Like today, a bit less so, just because I don't usually wear it like this. I've got my few little styles that I do. Yeah, like it hits. It works for me.
It does.
Yeah,
it really does.
Mm-hmm. And I love that I love it. I love that I love it. And I love that like younger girls will come up to me and like ask me questions. Yes. Like what to do with their hair. And I love giving them the information I have, even if I don't have loads of information.
Give you what I got.
Yeah. Everything I've got. And I want that to be so I guess I don't want anything for me. I want the youngers to like
the
talk
acceptance
to each
you
other.
have. You want that spread.
Yeah.
Because I'm just experiencing that now. I'm at the early birth of the Emma experience. I'm so excited
I think
to see how it
mine
grows.
was by force though, because I wasn't allowed to straighten my
True.
hair. I like had it drummed into me like not to really, because
I think that's such a key beauty conversation though. Such
Like,
a
I kinda
key
wanna
beauty
force that on
conversation
my children
to
too.
accept
You shouldn't
who
you
you
shouldn't force
are.
anything on them, but I feel like I'm going
Yeah.
somewhere.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Honestly.
I mean, especially my
It's
children,
just
they're going to
so
be
different.
absolutely
Not turning into a parenting podcast.
Yeah.
But I think that's a fantastic thing, because I wouldn't change anything, because it's the only reason I'm sat here now with my bloody face on there cackling away. It's because of the trauma. It's because of the trauma. Nicole, please.
I love it. Cackling away. The trauma. As it flashes by.
And she's just like, ha, you didn't break me.
Exactly.
You didn't break me. Fail. That's what that is.
You tried, but I'm still here.
Omen to all of the things that could have. And she's like, we're still here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't change it. But in my head, I'm thinking, the fact that I'm starting my self-love journey at like 30 is like, well, okay, well, better late than never. But when I hear you talk about your hair, it's exciting.
Yeah,
because I'm like, oh my God, there's so much to come.
It is exciting, but part of the excitement also comes from like all of those experiences. Like I learned to just be like, am I happy with my hair? Do I think what I'm doing with my hair feels right?
These are the
like,
questions.
do I want to do X and X? And to hell with
anyone.
Whatever else anyone wants me to do, or what they're trying to do to me in the salon. You will not.
You will not.
You will not now. And but I don't really want people to have to like wait as long to feel like to advocate for themselves.
That's my
advocate
thing
for
as
their
well.
own hair that grows out their head. That is just their hair. Like,
I don't want it to be as a result of trauma.
Yeah.
I would like, ideally, you can intercept the trauma. Ideally.
Yeah.
Because we're all sat here with this trauma. It's heavy. It's heavy. It'd be lovely if someone could listen to this, hear the trauma in real time, and be like, cool, next time I go to the salon, and as the trauma's just about to happen, like history is about to replay itself, they remember this and they say, actually, no. That would be a dream.
But also, I hate to ideate in the middle of a podcast, or at the end of a podcast.
Yes.
But I think we should do this as an event, like with the sharing space, because there's no reason why we can't bring this to people if they're into it. Like
Paige is better live. I think everyone can agree in this room that as fun as you may think I am on Instagram,
Paige IRL I think is the best way.
Well,
in all
Paige likes being in real life.
Paige in 3D.
Okay,
I'm a
Paige in 3D.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I want to happen, because it means that I'm a very I don't know. I give people like attention and hug and love and tactility. Like I've known them for like 20 odd years. And sometimes people are like, oh my God, why does this feel like this? And I'm like, I don't know, go with it.
Yeah.
But that's like,
I want to do that.
When I saw, when I first saw you, I was like, where do I know you from?
Yeah,
that's why I kept going. I kept going, no, I must know you from.
I think I have that with you a little bit as well.
There's this familiarity.
Now imagine if we could give this to other people. We're being selfish.
Exactly.
Giving each other our good auras. What do we get for that?
Exactly.
Because it's so interesting in terms of, like we all came from outside and with all our different things and getting whatever's happening with our hair. And
going on.
But then like it wasn't just us in here whinging about what's happened in our hair journey. I feel like there was a transmutation so that we're leaving here like lighter. You know, and I think that like we do need spaces where we can just let go of these things so that we don't pass them on. So we don't pass them on to the
or we don't sit and manifest with them. You know how many times I'll sit and I'll be like really anxious about something where, for example, like talking about the different terms to use and when now it's out, I feel light. I can walk with chest because I know how to navigate. I'm okay. But if I hadn't, I would sit and I would panic about it. It wouldn't be all day. But my brain does this thing where it really unfairly, when I'm having a good moment in the day, will throw something in that stresses me out and remind me. And then I sit and stew
Yeah.
I think a lot of our people are sitting and stewing.
Yeah, for sure.
They need to get it out. It's so unhealthy.
And and it's all right to make, like, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to make, like, cancel dragging culture.
It is, but the social space doesn't make you feel like it is.
And hence why we need safe spaces.
Yes.
Exactly.
Outside of that.
Yeah, because it's like that becomes the real world. Do you know what I
real,
mean?
exactly, reminding us what is real.
Drag them out.
So that's it, reminding yourself of the real world.
Yeah, sometimes I'll read a comment and I'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're right about
real.
me. Yeah.
They're so right. I am drag.
Exactly.
And then I remember it's not real.
Actually,
then when I walk, my phone dies.
Yeah.
Oh God, imagine it was AI.
No, honestly, it could be a box.
Some AI troll.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree.
So,
we should do an event. I'm down.
I'm so here for that.
Okay, y'all better stay tuned.